the middle in front of everybody.
Yeah.
Did you go through the silence before
I
things, Ray?
did.
No, everyone should know that. All right, well, in case you don't know, we have to silence our phones, folks. And if we could, we have a live webcast feed here going to a lot of people all over the country this morning. So I want to thank you for coming out this morning, braving the weather. I've had a lot of people travel a good distance, and we had a lot of cancellations, and thank God for the cancellations, because I don't know where everybody would have sat. But, you know, this is what the business is all about. Honey, you want to come up here and sit up here? Or you? We're gonna go over some things this morning. My wife, my business partner, and my good friend and top leader of my business, Tony DePaula, and basically show everybody how to grow a business. You know, we all have jobs. We have a lot of people in our business that have great jobs or own tremendous businesses. The fact of the matter is, it eats up all of our time, right? No matter how much money you make, my wife and I are very successful in our core business. But that business doesn't give us any freedom. It gives us more stress, and there's no light at the end of the tunnel until Veridian came into our lives. Because the fact of the matter is, in life, we only know what we know. We're taught to go to college, get a great education, come out of college with a couple $100,000 of debt, and start at the bottom of a totem pole and go make somebody else rich. To work your way up the ladder. Well, the fact of the matter is, times have changed. We don't live in that life anymore where you go to work for somebody for 30 or 40 years and they give you that gold pen and you have enough money to live in New Jersey and live the life of your dreams. Those days are gone. It's reality as we know it today. So we're here to show you an opportunity that's completely recession-proof, that you have a feel-good. Because at the end of the day, everybody from kindergarten all the way up through the school system, what are they teaching? Environmental, right? To protect this earth that we live in. It's getting big. It started off with the recycling. Remember years ago, the commercial. People throwing the bags of garbage out the window, hitting the Indians standing there on the street, and we all remember those commercials. Those days are gone too, because now everybody's recycling, right? Everybody's taking that accountability, taking ownership of that. Yeah, Tom, slide in, buddy. Sorry, everybody. So, you know, we're here to show you a different way. We're here to show you a four-year plan that's similar to college. But I want you to think about something for a second. You could start this business today, not leaving your regular business. My wife and I are still, but 4 years, we built a nest egg that pays us passive residually whether or not we go to work or not. Whether or not we ever got tapped on the shoulder, even though we own our own business or our business went under. We filled that void with something else, and the fact of the matter is this. This hasn't even started yet. So we're here to share how you can duplicate yourself and grow a business rather than you as a worker having a job or owning a business that's giving 100% of yourself. We're here to show you how you can have 100 other people that do 1% of the work and take all the stress out of your life. Because the motto is, in this business, the more people we help get what they want, the quicker we get what we want. It's a team effort where everybody can win. To me, it's the best business model I've ever seen in my lifetime. And I'm so grateful the person that came over our house a little over 4 years ago. And that's why we open our doors up to everybody, to educate everybody, because we want people to feel the way we feel. Once you have that freedom in your life, it's very special. We all start in this company at zero. We all start from the ground floor. Nobody's prejudiced against, nobody gets special treatment. It's a level playing field, and it really comes down to what you want. That's what it comes down to, how hungry you are, because all we're doing is helping other people and educating other people. Tony? Background about you?
Oh yeah, I'm a retired state trooper. I've always been a paycheck to paycheck guy with my family, trying to provide the best they could. Missed every opportunity in my life. Never had enough money for real estate or the tech boom or anything like that. But always was a hustler, looking for other things to do. Always had 3 and 4 jobs going at the same time. And I actually became an associate over 3 years ago, but my story starts in August of 2013 when a number of events happened to me, and it just built up in me. Why aren't I successful in Veridian? And I was sick and tired, to tell you the truth, of seeing people that were no better, no smarter than me, just walking in front of the room, getting promoted again, getting promoted again, getting promoted again. And I just said, well, let's dissect the situation, and I got myself together, and there's been no looking back since. So I'm happy to be able to share my experiences with you, because I screwed the business up, all 8 steps that we're going to talk about. I screwed each one of them up, and I think maybe I got it figured out now. So I'm actually part of this would be step 7. We're going to use teach and repeat. I'm part of that now. It's part of step 7.
Oh, that's 8.
Yeah, that's 8. So see, I screwed that step up. So I'm still learning, and looking forward to it. And we'll get through this succinctly and quickly this morning, but it'll be very impactful. Lala?
Okay, I think everything has been said. So I guess my piece, I'll just interject. If you have someone significant in your life, your spouse, partner, whoever you want to do this business with, really work to get them on board too, really introduce them to it. There's nothing to shy away from here. And if you have support, it makes all the difference in the world. It really does. Business is hard to do. And sometimes we get rejected, and that's a little hard to take, but we have someone around that'll encourage us, keep us motivated, keep us moving on. This is something inside. This is how you start to develop your good relationships, okay? Start at home. Start at home to develop your good relationships, and it'll just carry out.
Great. Let's start first. And everybody comes into this business, and too many people, this is about leading by example, right? Wherever you work in a school system, whether you're a high-level state trooper, Tony became a leader because he understood he needed to, in order for people to follow him and respect him, he needed to do the do, right? He had to do the do. And when Tony first came into this business, he thought it was a lottery ticket. He thought it was a slam dunk. Oh, I'm a big state trooper. I'll get my meters in 2 days. And he called me about the 4th day into the business. He said, John, I got people telling me no. I'm not used to it. And he said, I said, well, what are you saying to these people, Tony? He goes, well, I'm trying to explain everything to them. I said, no, stop right there. This business is about asking people for help, not posturing as a salesperson. Nobody wants a deal with a salesperson. I said, make it personal. Make it come from the heart. Go ask people for their help. And when you ask them for help, they're going to respond to you. What do you need? That opens the door. Hey, I'm with a green energy company. My wife and I are doing a business. We're protecting the future of your children, your grandchildren. This is what our mission is with this company. It's as simple as greener product, cheaper price, help me out. Steve Jobs always said, if you're not willing to ask people for help, you'll never get anywhere in life. I had people that come into my business and say, hey, John, it's really hard for me to ask people for help. I said, how many people have you helped in your life? He goes, oh, I can't even count how many. Go cash the chips in now. Because what you're doing by allowing people, you're helping them. You're not coming out and saying, I want to help you. Ask them for help, because once they open the door and they realize this is all about educating, a 3-minute education. We have videos, we have tools that we could use, but mostly come from the heart. When you go to people and ask people for help and say, I could lock you in for 3 years, price protection, greener product, that being with Veridian for 1 year is equivalent to the average 2 to 3 bedroom household recycling for 20 to 30 years, maybe that'll impact them, right? We have the sustainability report audited by Ernst & Young. Our company has total transparency. Use the tools. And it starts by everybody getting their customers, because the two questions everyone asks when they come into this business, is it worth it and can I do it? Well, if you come into the business right now till the end of the month, it's only $99, and you go out and get 16 customers in a matter of a week by asking people that you need their help, you're going to 8 times your principal investment, right? So it's worth it, right? Is it worth it? Can I do it? Well, it's worth it, and you just did it. And now we're going to show you, right? We have the solar, and we talk about customer acquisition. Learn your business. Surf your website. You know, get your list down. We're going to go all through that, but get your customers out of the way. Because in order for you to be a leader, you can never go to somebody and say, hey, you're in my business. Hey, Jamie, you're in my business. Go get 30 customers in a week. And if Gary Ruskowski was, he would have to accomplish that in order to tell Jamie that, which he did already. Right? So lead by example, do, get dirt underneath your fingernails. Too many people come into this business and they want to sign up 9,000 associates and they're sitting there with 1 meter. It's kind of embarrassing, because you got to learn how to acquire customers. Right? How to get free solar put on people's houses. Think about that. We could go to people and say, let me get you a free solar consultation. Takes 2 minutes to write their information. You send it in. Our house, we're saving $40,000. The Gregory's are saving over $40,000. We're giving people a gift that costs them nothing up front. And we get paid on every one of those customers for 20 years, every month. We have a gift given to us. We just got to learn the tools and how to use it and how to build leverage in our business. Tony?
Okay, so really, what this comes down to is people are buying their electricity already. And I'm just going to talk about electricity right now, because that's the ripping the Band-Aid part of this off, because everyone has electricity or an electricity bill. Not everybody can have solar on their roof. They live in an apartment, a condo, or they have, live under some trees or whatever. So let's talk about electricity. We want to get out of the gate quick, and we don't want to become experts the way I thought you had to become an expert with, because that is just, then you're posing as a salesman. What you're trying to do is the people that you have leverage on, right? The person that's been cutting your hair for 20 years, that they owe you. You've been supporting them. It's time for them to support you. And all you're doing is they're buying electricity already. You're just going to help them choose a more responsible way to buy that electricity. And that's it. I wouldn't even get in. You don't even have to get into rates or price. If that becomes an issue, you move to the next customer. Okay? Just know in your, in the back of your head, this is a great situation. 3-year price stability. That's for you to feel confident going forward. 3-year price stability. And if you go with a Freedom Fix, it's 110% guaranteed situation where they're going to save money against the utility, or else there's a money back, really a warranty on that, plus 10%. The difference plus 10%. But you're helping them choose a more responsible supply of electricity. And I think that's the key. And if it's within pennies, it's always going to be within a few bucks or pennies of each other. We're not talking about life-changing money. So if you came into the business, hey, if I can save money, I'm in business. No, it's not really the case. That becomes a very, rational business. And what we have to start defining ourselves as is really completely irrational optimists about this business. This is the only way we're going to move forward. If we're going to cry and get our wheeze sneaking every time the website goes down or this happens or that happens, we're never going to get out of our own way. And we're sacrificing time here. We might as well treat this like a real business and move forward. And really, develop irrational optimism. Just be optimistic. And don't let things get in your way. So you're just helping people. They're buying electricity. You're not selling anything. Okay? You're having them make a more responsible choice. And you should know, and that's part of being committed, is building your belief, that it's the right product. You're with the right company, okay? And when you see that Crius now is just about $1 billion company, all right? And this is, Veridian started everything. He started Veridian and then built Crius as a parent company to get more resources for us. So now we're in Texas, in really what has been the gold mine state for energy deregulation, okay? And one of the
going to Texas.
Huh?
Where we just bought out the company.
We just bought out the company in Texas, and a lot of the accounts that Tri-Eagle has. So what that does, it does a couple of things. A, you get into Texas, and Crius now has their nose in Texas. Veridian will probably be going there sometime in the summer. There'll be some announcements. But the commercial piece of Tri-Eagle is very big. So what that does is it expands Crius's scale, okay? So when you have a bigger scale, you can get better value for all of our customers and all of our brands. So you should be very happy, and I'm very happy and confident about that. That now we're talking about bigger scale, providing greater value to our customers going forward. And the other piece of that's exciting about that acquisition is that in Texas, there's a dual billing situation, okay? Which means if the customer chooses a third party, they get their electric bill from whatever, Texas Electric, and then they get their supply bill from ABC or Veridian or whatever it may be. So it's a dual billing situation. Why is that important? Well, there's other parts of our business right now that have dual billing, and because of the platform that we're in, we can't really do that with our technology right now. But this acquisition is going to basically force our hand to get into that. And an area like Long Island, okay, is a dual billing electric market. So, you put the pieces together and this thing starts to become very, very big. And that should really help build your belief. So, pay attention to things like that. And when your belief gets big, and you're going to help people, you can do that with much greater confidence. And don't ever try to become an energy expert or, pay attention, but don't become an energy expert. Just try to get your belief up in these experts that, you're now, for $99, you're leveraging a $1 billion company and all its resources, its commercial department. They're your accountants, basically. They're your marketing arm. They produce, they're your website developer and all that. So that's the cool thing that I'm finding about network marketing. You can start your own business for $300 and really have the leverage of $1 billion company backing you up. And that's where we're at right now. And that's very exciting.
All right, so let's start and show everybody how to grow a business.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, first I got to address this issue, and it's nobody in this room, I'm sure. Make sure, and this all changes tomorrow in New York, New Jersey, and Maryland. And the reason it's changing is because, you get 50,000 associates in the business, you're going to get some bad eggs. And people are slamming customers, okay? Which means without people's consent, all right, they're getting their supply switched to Veridian. So Veridian has to effectually put something in place to prevent that from happening. So there's an extra step your customers are going to have to take starting tomorrow. And make sure that you're not putting the bill in for them. I'm sure you're not doing that, but just I have to say that. Make sure you're sitting down and you're educating them, and they're either doing it on your computer or you're with them over the phone going through the process. Is they're going to either have to put their driver's license in now or the last 4 of their social security. And they're not credit checks per se. It's just another verification process. So we can get rid of these people that are slamming unassuming customers in our network. So it's really to protect the brand. So that'll be in place tomorrow. So you were here, we told you so. So that's what you can expect going forward. Go ahead, John.
The business all starts right here. Step number 1 is defining your why. What is your why? And what I mean by that, what is your reason? What is your reason that you came here this morning on an icy Sunday morning? There's got to be something inside you, right, that you're looking for something more than you have right now. When I started this business, my wife and I were pretty plush. You know, a couple properties paid off, had a flourishing business. And my why was very, I put it out there. I got a 1 in 400 and some thousand disease I was diagnosed with. I knew that if it took a turn for the worse, that I couldn't protect my family no longer. It goes back to the theory, like I said, you know, when you become that person that does 100% of the work, all the load is on your shoulders, right? And I didn't have that diversification. So when I looked at it, I said, you know, I need to do something else. I need to protect my wife, my kids, my grandchild. And I saw this as the best vehicle. So I really defined my why, and I was true to facing my why every day I got up in the morning. It's real easy for anyone in this room to make excuses. The life we live, the economy we live in, the stress we live under, corporate America, state troopers, you know, it's no longer where you have a big, they're tightening the grip on everybody. They want you to do twice as much for the same money or less, and they don't care about you. They don't care about your physicality. They don't care about your family. You're just a number. And that's why I define my why every day. And that's what got me through the tough times. The times sitting on the couches when I had a bad day, a horrible day. And it penetrated my mind, and I knew I had to get up to drive 2 hours to go do a presentation. And I had to fight myself. I had to really mentally fight myself because I was in the doldrums of what that day brought me. So to shift my mind, I just thought of my family. And it just shifted me into another. I put my Veridian sports jacket on, and I went, thank you. And I went and did that meeting. And you know what? I felt good about it. It totally got everything out of my body from those days' activities, dealing with a company, a family business, that you don't have the choice of who you deal with, right? See, in Veridian, you have the choice of who you want as your business partners. If somebody's in my business and they're a total jerk, I don't have to work with them. Hey, good luck, you're on your own. You don't want to follow the model? You know, like Bob Quintana told me, if you do as I did, you'll get what I got. See, in school, I wasn't the smartest guy in the world. I used to sit next to the sharpest, smartest kid in the class and cheat off him. And that's why I believe I'm successful in this business. And I'm kidding with that, but if you think about it, all you're doing is duplicating other people that have been successful. Tony picked my brain very early in this business. Tony picked my brain, and he said, John, I want to do this the right way. He used to come over my house. He used to seek me out. See, when somebody starts seeking you out, you know they're hungry. And when somebody's hungry, you can learn the skill set of this business, but if you don't have that deep burning hunger or desire, I don't care how big your Rolodex is, you're going to do nothing in this business. So at the leadership retreat, my wife and I and a lot of the other top leaders, because the company always throws these lavish trips. We went to Crystal Springs, a nice resort, and we had a guest speaker there. Now, I don't know if you ever heard of this gentleman, Kyle Maynard. Well, Kyle Maynard is an amputee. The true story of a congenital amputee who became a champion in wrestling and a champion in life. It's hard for me to fathom, but my wife and I met with him. I sat with him for an hour when he was in his wheelchair. This man here, born with basically no arms and no legs, climbed Mount Kilimanjaro, one of the tallest mountains in the world. And he told us that he got 3/4 up approaching the summit and he was broken. He said, John, I was in my tent freezing, my limbs were bleeding because he had prosthetic hooks to climb the ice to get up to the mountain. And he said I had to take duct tape because I didn't want to stop. And then on that 10th night, I was in my tent crying for 6 hours, shaking, freezing. I didn't want to go anymore. He goes, I was completely broken. And I said to him, Kyle, well, how'd you make it? He said, there was only one reason I made it up to the top of that summit. He said that a woman, before I started my journey, came up to me. Her son was killed in Iraq. And said, Kyle, would you please do me a favor? She put something around Kyle's neck and had a pouch and said, would you take my son's ashes to the top of the summit and let nothing stop you? He said, John, I had to shift my mind. I was freezing. He goes, I was bleeding. I was crying. I was broken. And I correlate that story to you because when Kyle signed this book for me, put the pen in his mouth, and he signed this book, Kyle Maynard, and he said, find your why. Find your why. Once you find your why, folks, in this business, nothing will stop you, I can tell you right now. I'm not a computer literate guy. Didn't read too many books in my day. I'm starting to read them now to become a better leader, because the more people we get in our organization, the better leader I want to become, to help other people become successful. But if I didn't have a strong why, I can tell you right now, I wouldn't be standing here. I wouldn't be retired in 4 years. My wife and I are set to live the life of our dreams right now because of this opportunity. I mean that. It's that real. I mean, when you can start getting the type of money we're getting every month in our account, it takes the stress completely out of your life. It's totally recession proof. It's totally real. And it's really up to you where you want to take this business. But it all starts right here. I mean, if this man can climb Mount Kilimanjaro with no arms and no legs, where I think 30 people have died over the last 6 years that are physically athletic, why can't we retire from Viridian? Why can't we live a life of our dreams? You know, life's short. Life's short. We have a lot of opportunity out there, but I can tell you what, this is the best opportunity I've ever seen, I've ever experienced in my life, with the sharpest people. Look around every time you go to a big meeting. Superior Court judges, school superintendents, high-level state troopers, FBI, you know, people that own hedge funds, people that are school bus drivers, stay-at-home moms. There's stories in this company, and every one of the stories where an underdog becomes extraordinary is because their why was strong enough to overcome any obstacles that they might. You're going to have obstacles. You're going to have challenges. You're going to have people close to you
The last time, no.
tell you no. And that's okay. You know, I said to my wife, we have a business. And I went out and did 20 estimates in the last 3 weeks, driving all across the tri-state area. We got 2 jobs out of 20. Did I shut down my company? That means 18 people told me no. Nobody shuts down their business, but they're inside their box. We want to, in this opportunity, we want to get people outside their box. There's no risk to this business, but if you don't risk yourself to get outside your box, you'll never be successful. So that's step one, the why. And if you overlook this part of it,
You'll be out. You'll be out of the business.
you'll be out of the business. I mean that. Look at your family, look at your pictures, and realize that you could create something in 4 years, no matter what happens to you, that your wife, your spouse, your children, your grandchild are financially protected for the rest of your life. And a job or a business cannot do that. Step 2, Tony.
Step 2 is commitment. And Frank Marone said this once at a meeting, and it's so true. And
Set
that's
goals.
It's commitment, setting goals, and building your belief. It's your game plan, basically. But this is the difference here. It's the bacon and the egg theory, okay? About being involved or being committed. With bacon and eggs, the chicken is involved, but the pig is committed, okay? Which you go from being involved to being committed is the day you walk into this business, okay? When you become the pig and you're going all in. Now, a lot of us, you know, we may still be just involved for a couple of years because we're not committed, not ready to come up with a game plan for ourselves. And that's what we have to do. We have to say, all right, I'm now committed, all right? What do I have to do? How many hours a week am I willing to sacrifice away from other things. I'm going to have to do that, whether it's fantasy football or the Dart League or the Kardashians. Whatever has to be taken out and moved and concentrated into this, that's up to you to determine. Whether that's 5 hours a week or 20 hours a week. And 4 to 5 years from now, where exactly do I want to be on the food chain, which is the career path, okay? What is going to make a difference? And you have to define that. You have to define it 4 to 5 years out. You know, put a definite date on that. Where do you want to be? And try to think big. I think coming from a very traditional blue-collar background like myself, it's very hard for me to think big. But the more I surround myself with people who can think big, it's becoming more and more possible because I see the ridiculous levels that these people are achieving. So, commitment. It's not just simply being involved, getting on a call, and maybe once every 3 weeks calling somebody on the list. It's about crossing the line and going all in. And we all have what it takes to go all in, okay? And whether we were involved 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 2 years ago, there's going to be a point and you'll know when you're ready to go, when you're ready to commit yourself. And that's what step 2 is about, okay? Setting goals and making commitments. Now you walk into the business, you sign up, your mentor, your coach, your sponsor has to set those reasonable goals for you. 8 electric meters in 8 weeks. 16 electric meters in 8 weeks, 16 electric meters in 4 weeks, okay, and 2 or 3 solar. I mean, it's very defined, and we have a game plan goal sheet, okay, that's in our back office that every sponsor of a new associate has to go through, okay. This way they know all the phone numbers. You know, there's whether you're on Facebook or not, I think it's a good idea to get on there. At least get on the Veridian team page. There's always good information, like the link to this training. Okay, I'm sure there's hundreds of people on this training right now because of things like that. Staying connected, okay, becoming part of the culture. And we just had a good call with our team last week about really going all in because there's and I'll mention it right on this thing, the Kenny brothers. They run this like a Fortune 50 company, okay? They have a CEO, a COO, they have a CFO, and these are the roles they take. And they're involved with every committee, every sustainability event they're involved in. ALC members, they always have, the majority there because they are running this the way any company would. Any big company is going to have lobbyists, and that's what they do. And they run this like a Fortune 50 company. And that's what my take is. If there's a sustainability event, get involved. If there's not, let's start one. And we're going to do one in the Ohio River with Khalil and our group from Northern Kentucky right around opening day, baseball opening day in April. You know what that's going to do for our business, John? When we got these guys out there, and some of them are 6'7", 340 pounds, when they see these guys working in a river, and we got the media plugged into that right around opening day, they're like, who are these guys? Who are these guys and their families? What are they doing? And it's a positive thing, and it's going to build momentum for their business, for our business, and we have to get involved. We have to get more involved than we are now. Okay, and I have the good fortune of being on the ALC now. I'm just so fortunate to be plugged into that because I have a support system with Lela and John. They recommended me for that, and we should all try to get involved in whatever. We don't have time. You'll make time, okay? Because it's the best thing you can do for your team is to get involved and to lead by example, and that's that's basically step 2 in a nutshell. Is these first 2 steps, okay, if you can define the reason why you're going to take this journey, and 2, if you can go from involved to committed. The quicker you can get from involved to committed, the sooner that the business is going to grow. And what we're going to go into now is step 3, 4, and 5 are the action steps needed to build this business.
What's step 3, folks?
Make a list. Who do you know?
Who do you know? Make your list.
So everybody take your phones out and just let's see how many contacts you have in your phones. Everybody take their phones out.
We get the count.
300 more in the last week.
No, I want to talk about this because a lot of people overlook this part. I actually overlooked this part. My wife and I got to 25,000 customers in this business by accident. And now we're playing for real because we believe it's that real. We believe it's not only a game changer, it's a life changer. You know, we thought we're coming into this business to make $5,000 a month. Take a little stress. Boy, were we wrong. We're real wrong in a good way. I mean, it's good to be wrong like that. But folks, this is about. I have a book here. Eric Worre is a good friend of mine. I actually met him on a backstage at DC Hilton when we spoke on stage in front of a couple thousand people. And, you know, I followed him because he's a guy that's made 10, 20, 30, $50 million already in this business. And we all know he has the book and the audio out, GoPro. But he said, John, the list is your living document. It's not the names we have in our head, right? That's treating it like a hobby. Oh, wait, I thought of that guy. Let me go contact him. It don't work like that. If you want to go pro in this business, if you want to retire in 4 years to live the life of your dream, to say, hey, Maria, let's hop on a plane. Let's go to Hawaii for 3 weeks. Don't care how much the plane fare is. This is what we're sitting on here, folks, to be honest with you. This is what we're sitting on. This type of life we're sitting on. It all starts here in this book. Get the business cards you have at home. Think about who you went to school with, who you went to college with, who you worked for, who you worked with, who's your neighbors in a previous, who's in your sports programs with your kids. That one person that's hungry that you contact and show them this business could be a $20,000 to $100,000 a month revenue stream for you 5 years down the road. And they're going to thank you up and down because if people accept this business as a gift, right? Some might not. Some might love their jobs. They don't know how to get out of their box, and that's okay. What we lack in skills, we make up for in numbers, folks. So now, I just keep writing this list.
No prejudice. Don't prejudge. Well, he'd be good. He'd be terrible. He probably would say no. I haven't talked to him. Everyone gets written down. Now, if I was really smart, which I'm not, I would have went back to my old high school rosters and found class of '84 on Facebook, and I probably would have. You wouldn't have mind talking to me, right? If we found each other on Facebook, we remember each other. And he's in the business under somebody else, but if I was really smart, and I'm going to probably have to do that, go back and just reconnect with as many people as possible. And if it happens, it happens. And I'm starting to do that at one level. It has to be, you can't make any predeterminations on that list. It just has to be in a tremendous, huge, gigantic document. And it's the mistake that John just told you he made. I definitely made it because I don't need a list. I got these 6 people in my head. Of course I'm going to be a millionaire, right? And then I'm wondering, and I'm sitting there, and well, why isn't my business going anywhere 6 months into it? And for the 100th time, Bob Quintana is on stage in Atlantic City talking about the importance of a list. I said, you know, maybe I'll go home and make a list. And I did. And you know what? After 3 hours, and the time goes by so quick when you're passionate about doing this, and this is an action step. You have to take time to do this. I thought it was 15 minutes. I looked up, it was 3 hours because there was well over 400 names on there. Once you get to it, and you have to write it, the computer doesn't work here because there's something magic that happens when you write. You start to think about more and more people. Who is this person? What are the 5 degrees of separation from this person I'm writing down? And that list can continue to grow. So my list is up to about 3,000 right now because I have access to the entire state, the former Troopers Association. all the retired troopers. Plus, I can have access to all the guys that are actually involved now because I'm a consultant with that, and I have access to that list. And I know many of them I don't know, but it's a pretty big organization that is very close-knit too. So that's the way we have to think.
Yeah.
And this way there's never any weakness. Oh my God, I only have 6 people on my list and 5 said no. I don't know if I can do this. If you have the list, it really does help you bridge that gap, going from involvement to care.
And what we're all going to do, because we're creatures of habit, we're going to write down the closest people to us, family, friends, the people we're most comfortable with, because we know they're not going to tell us no to go sit down with them. And what I found out, I asked God to protect me from all my enemies, and I started losing family and friends. Because what you're going to find, I'm being honest with you now, what you're going to find out is some of the people closest to you, they might stand in front of you and tell you're the greatest guy, we're best friends. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, they're not. Not all of them. It's when you get outside your comfort circle, as I call it. Once you get outside that comfort circle is once you start making huge strides in this business. And you know what? People say to me, John, you know what? I went through my warm market already. I said, you got to give yourself a gut check. Because I believe we could add 10 names every day to this list. When somebody's hungry enough, I went to a restaurant around the corner, Lucento's. The owner of that restaurant, who owns 3 other restaurants in New York City. Real sharp guy. He's coming into our business today. Because he's sick and tired of his restaurants controlling him. He said, John, I'm getting tired, man. There's no light at the end of the tunnel. It's the same thing. I'm in that hamster wheel. So I believe we can reach 5 to 10 new people every day by striking a conversation with somebody, right? Not vomiting Viridian on them, but just generally caring, asking a question. Hey, where are you from? Hey, where do you live?
Morristown.
Hey, where'd you go to school?
Susquehanna University.
Hey, man, you played some kind of sports, didn't you?
Basketball.
Basketball, I could tell right away. See, strike a conversation. It's never about you.
Yeah.
Make it about somebody else. We got professional athletes in our business. My buddy Todd Frazier, who I just spoke, he just went out that training camp out in Arizona. He's the kid that won the Little League World Series from Toms River. He's a Jersey Star. He just signed a $12 million contract. He's one of our Viridian associates. He's, when his career is said and done, he's probably going to make $150 million. But you know what? He said, John, I could do something now that's making a difference for my child, for my little boy. It's like Tony said, don't prejudge anyone. I have people in my business that are from Millstone here, Marriott, big business owners, right? Don't prejudge anyone. Everybody has a different reason. Some people say for the first time in my life, I can now have a lot of other people, I can help a lot of other people, because it's all about helping people, this business. That's what it's really all about. So this is key, guys. If you take this serious, this list will move you into action. Trust me.
Yeah, and then the next thing after that list is all the way completed, you have to categorize everybody on that list. It's very simple. Just in the left margin, A, B, or C. So A is going to be the A players, okay? If you're thinking about, hey, they're A players, oh, they're networked out the hilt and very successful and influential. They're A players. And you know what? There's not going to be many A players on the list, but that's okay. We want to get to them first, even though they make us shake a little bit in our boots. That's okay. Mark them as A players. C are just customers. I don't want to be in business with this person. I just want them to be my customer. Okay, there's C's. And so then the vast majority of your list is going to be the letter B, is both. I'd like to see them in my business. If not, if they don't want to come in at a later date, they'll be my customer. So very simple, A, B, and C. This way you kind of are building a game plan on how to attack that list.
Well, you want to take care of step number 4, contact and invite? Just explain about that, maybe stand up for next time.
Pretty much what John had already alluded to. Picking up that phone and calling someone. All through these other steps, there's a really large component that needs to be injected here, and that's your personal development. So at this point, whatever you think of yourself is really going to come through. When you're picking up the phone and you're feeling a little afraid, that's going to come through. Or uncertain, maybe lacking confidence, maybe not knowing, what if they ask me a question and I can't answer it? All of that is going to come through. So you have to prepare yourself by reading books, by listening to audio. Prepare yourself for this new industry, which is upside down and different from anything that you've ever known. So when you approach this stuff, it's as you think, so shall you be. When you're convinced to yourself and you're psyched up enough, then you pick up the phone and you contact the people on your list, or you go to where you know that they are. Maybe it's your dry cleaner or the people at Dunkin' Donuts, and you have this conversation, but just not right away and all on top. Make sure that you nurture the conversations or the relationships that you anticipate that you're going to have along the way. Everybody that you run into is either a potential customer or a potential associate. That's the way this business is going. Not today, they will be tomorrow. So nurture that relationship. Everybody on your list is the people that you're interested in showing them the opportunity. So feel genuine when you're making that approach.
Yeah, you know what? I'd just like to add something here, Love. Remember what this says, and it's very important here, because the last thing we do in this business, we never want to explain, right? It's as simple as we always want to be the messenger. We never want to be the message. We have a 13-minute video that Tony's going to get to next with my wife and show you how to show this opportunity. But the key is here, contact and invite. Date certainty, time certainty. If I'm calling Gary Roskowski and he's on my list, and I call him, hey Gary, how's the family? How's everything going? Oh,
Doing well, John. Doing well. Thanks.
hey, listen, Gary, man, I just got involved in something, and I really need your opinion on something. You're a real sharp guy. You've always been a successful guy. You're a leader in the school system. And I really like to get your opinion. You got 15, 20 minutes for me, like within the next day or two?
Today's kind of booked, but yeah, definitely. Tomorrow should be open.
All right, listen, Gary, let me put you down for tomorrow. And a lot of times, people are going to ask you, what's it about? What's it about? You got to transition, right? You got to shift their minds. Don't get caught up and let the gates of hell open up. Because that'll happen. You don't want to ever have to explain this, right? So when Gary, if he comes and asks me, well, what's it about? I'm just going to shift him and say, Gary, what's good for you? I got my book out. 7 o'clock tomorrow night or Tuesday night. What's better? And right away, now I shifted his mind to a time and date certainty, right? It's all about having that calendar, having that book with you, and just following the steps. And then you want to get off the phone. Oh, my dog just crapped on a rug, or I got somebody at my door. Creating a scenario, because you don't want those gates to open up, right? All you're trying to do here is contact and invite. It doesn't say contact and run your mouth about the company for 15 minutes, because all you're doing is shooting yourself in the foot, right? You're trying to get from one stage to the next. Whether that be putting 10 people in your living room like my wife and I did, and that's what we did early on in this business. That's how we got very aggressive very early. We didn't even know what we were doing. Nothing. We had zero experience. But I just felt that the more people we expose this to as quickly as possible, and I was definitely right on that. Thank God for that. But so contact and invite, remember. And guys, a lot of times, folks, like Eric Worre says, the text message. Nobody likes answering their phone, jinga, jinga, jinga. They look at it, oh yeah, okay, I'll get them later. But if you send a text message out to a lot of people, and we find a lot of success, we have a new guy that just came in Tom Braddock's business. Tom Braddock's a principal up in Cherry Hill. And he's blowing up this business. He says, John, I won't be teaching in 2 years. He goes, I'm done. He's at a level now where 3 years into this business, Gary, you know him very well, he's blowing this thing up. He'll be making $20, $30, $40,000 a month in this business because he immersed himself. But he said, John, the key to me of really making that big advance, was I started text messaging people. Hey, Gary, need to speak with you ASAP. Please give me a call. Thanks. That over a phone call, the people are going to get back to you. 80% of the people will get back to you. Start using a different approach to having people, because all you want to do is contact and invite. You just want to get a date and time certainty. And now we'll go to the next step, Tony, which is step 5.
Step 5, and step 5 is showing the presentation, showing the video, and there's really 3 ways to do it. The first way is the most common way, is to do that one-on-one in a home, or doing that one-on-one in a public place where you end up meeting somebody. So in either instance, what you need to do is, once you book this time and you're going to show this video, what you're going to do is give somebody in your upline a heads up and see if they're going to be available for you at that particular time to act as the third party call, somebody to help answer the questions. And so if I'm going to be showing the video at 1 o'clock to Lela, I'm going to give my upline a call and say, hey John, are you going to be available about 1 or 1:15? And he'll say yes or no. And if he says yes, I says, well, you'd be interested to know her name is Lela. She runs an environmental business, much like yourself. Yada yada yada. And that'll be about it. John has enough information. So what I'll do is say if I go to Lela's home, we'll simply exchange niceties, but get right down to business and make sure we have a quiet environment and play the video. And then at the beginning of the video, when I hit play, this is the last time I touch my phone, is I just text John NOW, and that's the smoke signal to John that he knows that in approximately 13 or 14 minutes, I'm going to be calling him for some help to answer a few questions. And I may reiterate NOW, I just write the name down, Lela. This way he knows once again who he's going to be speaking with. So the video ends, and I typically say, hey, that made a lot of sense, didn't it? But I'd like to put my business partner on the phone who will help answer any questions. And I know you have a bunch of questions. So I simply dial the phone. I don't have any problems with this. I never had anybody say, well, what the hell are you doing? Now, if they just say, absolutely not, I'm not interested in this business, well, don't waste anybody's time, obviously. But there's usually an inkling of interest. So what I'll do is I'll get John on the phone on speaker. Say, hey John, you're on speaker. I just sat down with a good friend of mine. Her name is Lela. She runs an and I'll edify Lela, and I say, hey Lela, this is John. I think you'd be interested to know. He's also involved in an environmental company too, and has been involved in this business and wildly successful in it. And he's available to you. And please ask any questions that you may have. So John, this is Lela. Lela, this is John. And just have at it, and you stay out of the conversation completely. And just let let John fill in the blanks for Lela, and let Lela ask whatever hard questions she may have. Because, if Lela and I have a good relationship, she may not want to ask me, hard questions, or if there's some skepticism, she may not want to break my heart. But she doesn't know this guy, so she'll be a little tougher on the phone. And it always works out well, one way or the other. And what John does is he basically edifies the company and fills in any blanks that may not exist. And then towards the end of that call, what John has to do is John has to weigh the measurement of interest, whether it be on a scale from 1 to 10, and try to escalate to another exposure with Lela. And that would mean, hey, look, there's a meeting Wednesday in Marlboro. Oh, there's a meeting Thursday in Ocean. Oh, there's a meeting Tuesday in South Plainfield. I'd love to be able to meet you there. And I think you get a lot out of it. You get to meet some real sharp people that are winning at this business. And that's all it is. There's no close. It's just simply elevating this to an additional exposure. And that's really
Yeah, I'd like to just edify what you do when you are the third party caller, because in this business, you're going to have to go from student to mentor quickly to grow a big business. It just happens fast. So when I get on a call, what I do, and a lot of you, is that I take third party calls. For the first question I ask, if Maria's the potential associate. First thing I say, hey, well, I thank you for taking the time to look at this opportunity. Let me start by asking you, would you most like about what you just saw? Would you most like about what you just saw? Because if I said, well, what do you think? I'm leaving an open spectrum. Well, it sounds like a pyramid, blah, blah, blah. No. Would you most like, oh, I like the passive residual income. I like it's all about the green. I believe it's a big trend. So you're getting positivity back, right? But in order to get that positivity, you don't want the conversation to start off taking a right turn, you know? So make sure you ask the right question. Be authentic, right? Be jovial, be excited, and really create that positive feedback coming back. You can do that. Just start off with the right questions, right? And then it's about giving facts. We're business partners with Elon Musk. You know who Elon Musk is, right? If they don't, give them all. PayPal, SpaceX, Tesla, Solar City, #1 businessman in the world on Fortune magazine. Then edify Michael Falquist. Yeah, I know you've seen in the video about our CEO who won Ernst & Young's Entrepreneur of the Year award. Right away, credibility. The sharpest people that look at this opportunity, nobody's going to say it's a joke. Nobody, when they find out who's involved, if they do, you don't get off the phone, tell them good luck, wish you good luck at your job, and move on to the next person, right? So really that's what it's all about, right? Follow the system. Remember, Tony said when you're introducing someone, make the introduction, edify both parties. Edify both parties. And then just sit back and listen. Don't butt in no matter how bad you want to talk. Never interject. Stay disconnected from the outcome. And that's where you want to be here. Because you're only sorting through a process with a lot of people. You'll know when you have somebody sharp and hungry. You'll know. Gary knows. Gary just landed somebody, Jamie. He said that he will be the fastest guy in Viridian. He made it public. I will be the fastest guy in Viridian to make director out of 60,000 people.
All right, say it to the camera.
Jamie Gamer from Cherry Hill, New Jersey. I will be the fastest director ever to hit that rank in this company, period, space.
Yeah. Woo. Yeah. Woo. I said there were 2 other ways, right? Lela had turned me on to some technology that it should replace the way we do the long distance calling. You know how we say, hey, are you available tomorrow night? And they live in Chicago, and all right, at 8 o'clock I'm going to call you, and then you give them the link, and then you call them in 14 minutes with the third party caller. It's a very cold way to do it, you know. And obviously the one-on-one is the best way to do it because it's one-on-one. It's very cold to do it long distance. But Lela has showed me a what was the
WebEx?
Yeah, the WebEx. WebEx it's free if you're just doing it one-on-one or one-on-two, where you got the camera with you, and you could do the webinar. It's almost like a business plan webinar where you're actually showing them the video, and you're sitting there, you're face to face, and you're probably 4 more steps closer to them than just doing it by, hey, hit this link and I'll call you back in a little bit, because you don't know what they're doing in those 14 minutes. And Jeff, we've had some issues with that where people just like walk away and you can't find them for 3 days, right? And they don't pick up the phone, you don't know what happens. So it's your way of kind of controlling and making sure they're disciplined enough to sit there, because they see your lovely face, you see their lovely face, and there's no cheating involved, right? And then you simply just bring in somebody on the call. You bring in your upline on the call once that's done, and they don't necessarily, you could if you're a little more involved than I am, you could probably bring that third face into the camera, which I think you probably can do.
Yeah.
That's getting really fancy, and that'd be just a separate training. I mean, we even got YouTube now, so we're getting there. But that's my takeaway. Another takeaway from the Kenny brothers.
So remember, folks, all you need to do to be successful is you need to know what the video is. 13-minute video. ViridianPresentation.info. You should know it in the back. Once you do it once or twice, that's your vehicle, right? 13-minute video. Shut your mouth, sit down, watch a video. Put people in your living room, put people in your kitchen. The most passionate promoter wins. And all you gotta do is show this video to hundreds of people and get other people to duplicate what you're doing, right? Simplicity duplicates, complexity don't. The more you start running your mouth, the more people start spinning, their heads are spinning. Keep it simple, right? That's all this is about. Keeping it simple, keep it duplicatable. What's the next step, Tony?
6. Follow up. Follow through.
The fortune.
So, step 6 I thought was where you had to start to stalk your friends and demand an answer for them for 14 consecutive days, and it made me feel very uncomfortable. But in that period of August 13 is when I got the GoPro book from Eric Worre. And if you take anything out of that, what is that? Step 6.
Oh, we're at 6.
Yeah, step 6. Johnny Cakes. Okay. Follow up and follow through is simply taking this to the next, another exposure. You're not trying to close anyone out. We're just trying to bring them along from anywhere from your level interest is 1, and we want to take them up to a 10. And we do that by providing materials, maybe a sustainability report. Maybe, hey, can we do a conference call, maybe a follow-up in 3 or 4 days if you're going to do some due diligence? I'd like to pop back up on the phone with you, and me, you, and Mike can get together and just kind of sort this out. And that's all we're doing. Hey, if they're local, or even if they're not local and they're interested, hey, look, friends of my business and business partners of mine are down in Silver Springs, Maryland, and I could see that you're only about 25 minutes away. Would you be open to attend a Viridian meeting down there? And I'll advise my business partners to look out for you, and you could take a look at some of the people who are involved. So it's simply just extending that education and understanding. And you're not trying to close anybody, and I'm sure the salesman in the room saying, like, what are you doing? You gotta close, you gotta close, you gotta close. The only real sales technique that you have an advantage over, or anybody else that's involved in sales, is the contact and invite, where you guys are obviously superior at that. And where folks who don't have a sales background, that's where we kind of have to learn. But that's the difference. There's really no closing here. It's simply escalating those folks, giving them the proper materials and pointing them to the proper tools to help them just work up that ladder. And the way we do it is, okay, you see the video, that's your first exposure. Your second exposure is a third-party call. In many cases, the next exposure is them coming to meet you at an open meeting, okay? And this should happen in a condensed period of time. Don't say, hey, next October, let's get together in Philadelphia. It should be, next week, how about the meeting? And we try to get them there. Now, so then they're going to have that third exposure. And then they're going to have a 4th, 5th, and a 6th exposure probably that night as they meet, say, John, and they meet Mike, and they meet Jeff. So they're going to really start to be in a situation where the average is, 7 exposures before somebody would come into the business. And that's what you want to do. You want to have people that are ready to get committed rather than being dragged into a business. Because, you can't, nobody makes anything from somebody signing up for $300. We all prospers when somebody comes in, they're committed to this, and they acquire customers through their warm market. So that's my take on step 6.
Yep. Yeah, you can't push a noodle. But the exposures, they could come, don't think, 7 exposures. That exposure, like Gary had me on the phone with Jamie, pointed Jamie out as a sharp guy right away, alerting his upline. He let his upline, we're here to do the heavy lifting. When you start getting a sharp guy or a sharp woman in your business, alert your upline. Those exposures could come 5 in one day.
And if I had tried to get an answer from him the first time we spoke, it would have been a hard no. You know, we've known each other years, we've coached together, and you know the timing happened to be right for Jamie at this time, and now that's when you have someone who's all in.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. The timing, you're going to have people that you've approached, that I've approached 2 years ago, that are now coming back to me because they hate their job 10 times more. Something happened at work. Something happened with the other business they were in. It's all about timing. It's not your timing. It's their timing. Be patient and ask people, would it be okay if I contact you in a couple days? Ask for that okay. It goes a long way. It gets you out of the stalking mode. They already gave you permission, right? Okay. Step 7, Tony, what is it?
I have no idea, bud. No, step 7 is
Consult your coach.
consulting your coach and really being open to communication, okay? Because what you're going to do here is realize that the landmine that we're looking at, there's footprints that get you all the way through that. There's no need to wander off the trail and get your legs blown off, okay? Just your coach is not going to tell you to do the wrong thing, or your sponsor, or whoever your mentor is. And basically, it's all going to be the same type of language you're going to hear, whether it's here in Monroe, New Jersey, or down in Silver Spring, Maryland, or out in Cincinnati, Ohio. It's all going to be the same stuff. Now, the nuance may be changing because you get a different nuance from John than you will from, say, a Jim Kenny or a Michael Fitzpatrick or a Johnny Lopresto, because everyone's personality is different, and some personalities may not resonate with you, but others may. So you, even in this business, get to choose your own coach, okay? You get to choose your own mentor in this. If you want to emulate somebody that's not, in your business, yeah, you can do that too. You can, and that's I think the beauty of this business. People are always willing to help whenever they can, because as we build the brand and we build it, we build it with quality people, all of us are positively affected by that. If we do it in a negative fashion where we start to, bird dog other people's associates, or, try to block other people from being successful, that's only going to hurt the brand as a whole, and that's going to, hurt all of our businesses as a whole. So it really is a culture of being positive and helping people, and know that that is being done for our best interest in consulting the coach. We had one person a couple of years ago that was so offended that after she became associate one night, 5 or 6 people from her upline called her to welcome her, and she immediately thought that she was being stalked, and has never heard anything like that in her life, and decided to rescind her enrollment. But you have to know that people, especially if you're going to make some noise, like you're going to hear a lot from a lot of people, but as you make, when you make noise, you're going to expect to hear it, okay?
Yeah.
And if we hear you, if you're contacting us, we know that you're up to something, and that's a positive. Yes, sir.
That was one of the things that honestly kind of solidified the fact that I made the decision to come here. Was within maybe 6 hours of joining the business, I talked to almost everybody in my upline, all the way up to getting a Facebook friend request from Joe Ho. So I was like, that for me made it easier for me to commit to being a part of this team.
Good, yeah, because you know how to support.
And what you're going to learn, like Tony said, you want to be the squeaky wheel, you got to take action. You want to be that person that's communicating with everybody, that you're there at the meetings. I could be very honest and tell each and every one of you, if you don't make the meetings and you don't look to get people to meetings, nobody's ever going to follow you. You're treating it like a hobby. You must love your job, and that's where you're going to be. It's the minute you, like Steve Harvey says, when you jump off of that cliff, you're going to get scraped up, you're going to get beat up, you're going to get cut up. But that's the only way your parachute is going to ever open. It's not going to open walking up and down the street. You're safe. You're good, you're safe. But you're not taking any risk, and therefore you're never going to get ahead. That means you're complacent, you're happy, you're ecstatic where you're at in life, your family's protected, or so we think. But guys, folks, the people that really spread their wings here and jump, and we're watching a lot of people that are saying, you know what? The pain is too great in my everyday activity. It's too great in my business. It's too great with my job. Now I'm going to move from the pain towards the pleasure. A lot of people don't feel the pain all that good. They're content with the pain. But when that pain gets too great, they'll move towards the pleasure because there's nothing in between. Pain or pleasure, pain or pleasure. So consult your coach, be in contact with people, be a communicator to your groups. You know, get on the phone, have conference calls, be that leader that wants to stand up and spread their wings. Step 8, Tony.
Step 8 is learn, use, teach, and repeat, also known as duplicate. The quicker we can, or the better that we can duplicate ourselves. This is the power of network marketing. This is the distribution model. This is where it's not the 100% of your efforts, it's the 1% of the 100 people that you brought into the business with you that's gonna, make this the magic for us. Whereas, if you're in your own business, you're only as good as your own effort. And if something happens where you go down, you get injured, and you can't perform, well, you know what? Your business doesn't go anywhere. But if you can build through leverage, you can, someday get 100 people or 1,000 people in your business to give 1%. That means you're giving 1,000%. And that's where the magic of network marketing really is. And learning how to duplicate it, where you're taking a system and you're keeping it simple. And you can teach people one-on-one exactly what to do. And you don't have to become an energy expert. You just have to be a relationship expert. Okay? And build and bond and duplicate that over and over again. That's where the magic really happens. And all you're looking to do in this business is you do a little bit, and then you get a lot of people to do a little bit, and you're only looking for 4 to 5 people that feel the way you do. That's the whole thing in a nutshell. Okay? It's as simple as that, and that's what we found out.
Yeah. So let's do a quick overview. Lel, you have anything to add to step 8?
I just would like to say during this whole process, what you're really doing is reinventing yourself on purpose, not letting life hit you, and then you have to reinvent yourself. You got to reinvent yourself to who you want to be. That's real important. You'll be evolving through this whole thing. Remember to be very honest with yourself when you've gone through all of the steps and maybe we haven't made the contact that we desire from the contact and invited, didn't get the associates. Really review and be honest. What did I screw up? Out of the duplicate system, what didn't I do? And always there's something on that list that you didn't do. But also remember, don't be brutal to yourself, because there are 4 types of people, like Robert Kiyosaki says. We've seen that little video clip, and if you haven't, you can YouTube it. People who are comfortable, people who like to be right, people who like to be liked, and then the people who want to win. And when you're having a conversation with these people that you're right, you can always put them in one of those 4 categories. And when you've got a winner, you get very, very excited. And that's when John says, yeah, you will know. So, that's about it.
All right, so a quick recap, right? You can't move forward in this business until you truly define your why. It won't happen. Take it serious, truly define your why. Step 2, right? You got to have specific goals in order to make those commitments to yourself, but more importantly, to your family, right? Set your goals. Be certain, be specific about those goals. Jamie put his head on the chopping block, right? He put his head, I love it. He got outside his comfort zone 2 days into the business. Has previous multi-level marketing experience, which is a key, because a lot of us had to learn it, takes a year sometimes. But I give him a lot of credit for really getting outside his comfort zone in 2 days, and he's going to have to take massive action. And he knows he has the team to support him, right? So, and when you write that list, right, keep it close to you. This will get you to take action, right? Show the plan. Just get people in a room. Be disconnected. And that list, if it's 10 people on a list, you're going to be desperate. Don't be desperate in this business. Nothing matters. You're sorting through people. It's like a well-shuffled deck of cards, right? We all know there's 52 cards in every deck. Every time you expose people to that video, you're flipping a card. You need 4 aces to be financially free for the rest of your life. There's 4 aces in that deck. They could be on the top of the deck. They could be in the middle of the deck. They could be on the bottom of the deck. Fate, luck, right? But if you stop flipping those cards, you're never going to find your aces. If you want to get aggressive, start putting people around your kitchen table. Start going to other people. Start getting people to meetings. You want 10 people at a meeting, you're going to have to invite 20. Everywhere you look in this business, what you lack in skills, you'll make up for in numbers. Joe O, a dear friend of mine, my wife's top earner in this company, said, John, my son asked me, Daddy, what do you do for a living? He says, Frankie, I'm a professional video player. I show videos to sharp people. You know what? It's funny, but you know, it's so true. Keep it simple. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. Keep plugging in. This opportunity, if you so choose, will change your life. It will.
My last takeaway is going to be that there's a solar seminar that will be running tomorrow night in South Amboy, New Jersey, 220 Main Street. And it is the Christ Church Hall in South Amboy. If you're interested, if you have some people that you want to escalate to another exposure, be a good opportunity tomorrow night, 220 Main Street in South Amboy at the Christ Church Hall.
Final words. We're in a business of people, the power of people. This business comes down to putting a smile on your face, approaching people with positivity. Nobody wants to be around a negative person. That's where you can go to your job to find that. Right? This is about positivity. This is about a future. It's about a business that we get to pick and choose who we work with. And I realized in this business, it's all about bonding with people. It's all about hugging people. When people wobble, hold them up. Give them your belief system. Work with them. Stay on the phone with them. Mentor them. Support them. Because the more people you help and build those people into leaders, the stronger your business becomes and the more sustainable. If you're half in, half out, nobody's ever going to follow you. Make that commitment that you want to change your life. Start your 4-year college today. You won't have debt at the end of this 4-year college. You won't have to get a job as a waiter at the end of this 4-year college. But you know what? You and your family will be financially free for the rest of your life. There's nothing that will stop Michael Falquist and this company being the top. Being right on the top. There's nothing else. The handwriting's on the wall now. We went through the jungle. We had a lot of problems like any other startup company. We're here to stay and we're here to play. And all we're doing for looking people that want to run, not want to walk. I really appreciate each and every one of you is coming out today. Everybody on the webinar, hope to see you soon, whatever market you're in, because I'll be there. And make it a blessed day. Thanks a lot.
Me and John are doing it, and
Tony, what time was that?
7 o'clock. Hey, Cecil B. DeMille, good job.